Over the past year, you've seen a couple of my car camping adventures where I go out and I live out of my smart car. Now this is the epitome of a micro camper. It's literally a smart car. So today, in this very uncut video, I plan on showing you around the car. Take it as a bit of a house tour, but for my micro camper. This is going to show you how I live behind the scenes. I'm currently on a car camping adventure. I'm in the Elan Valley in Wales. And so you're going to see it in real life. This is everything I have actually brought with me. I've just finished cooking. And so, yeah, you'll also be able to pick up some tricks if you have a micro camper or if this is something you're looking at doing. So, starting off nice and simply, in the front passenger seat, I simply have a cowboy hat, some leaflets, but I try and keep this as clear as possible because that is a great dumping ground. And then in the door here, I have a couple of these clamps. These are what I use to hold up my curtains when it comes to the nighttime. That is it in the front passenger seat. So I'm now going to work round to the driver's seat where similarly, there is very little going on. In here, I literally have a cable in which I will plug my phone in. Obviously, this is where I sit to drive. Down in the bin here, I have some scissors. You'll never notice how important scissors are until you go car camping. And I have some lip balm. So now we're going to move into the back of the car, which is unsurprisingly where most of the action happens. So in here, you can see I have this kind of mat laid down. Now this is like a rubber mat which is used for camping stuff. It just protects the car. I then have a wooden board here, and that is the board that I use to sleep on. It also has this casing thing that I made just to stop the wood from grating on anything. Then I have the stash of soft stuff. This is my pillow. Here is my big jacket. Here is my bedding. So that's where I basically just stuff all of the soft stuff under there. And then finally, I have water. Water is super important on this trip, which is just a one-night trip. I've got 4 litres of water, especially how the sun is so brilliant today. It's 6 o'clock, the sun is still shining beautifully. So I thought I'd take this moment to give you a tour. So that's relatively simple. That's the back passenger seat. Then what I have in the boot behind that, the seats are folded down, they fold down flat. I have this. Now this is my futon. This folds out into the mattress, but while it's folded up, it just takes up the space that would be behind that back passenger. What I do also have tucked away on the edge here is my toothbrush and toothpaste. If you can see that, I just keep it there. It keeps the ends out of any dirt. So we'll open up the boot and take a look from this direction. So from the boot, you can see I still have my futon here, and that comes right back to the boot. I have a toilet roll in the back. You never know when you're going to need that. And this is where my power station is. So I have the Jackery 240 power station. It doesn't provide much power, but just enough to keep the cameras rolling. And if I bring a laptop, I can do a couple of charges for editing. And then finally, rammed in the corner here is the camping gas. It's just kept nice and stable and upright by the battery in that corner. So now I'm going to take this mattress out. And you're going to notice there is a very large black cabinet. Now this is the main thing that I did to convert this into a micro camper. To make it livable in, I decided I'd build a cabinet which meant I could store stuff compactly. Everything was kept neat. It was also kept hidden away, making it more discreet when I was on the road. So let me show you how this works. So first of all, on this side, we have my clothes basket. This is simply a basket full of the clothing that I'll wear on the trip. Then we have a tripod and my Bible. And then at the back there, which I'll show you in a minute, we have some camera gear. So this is basically the clothing, and then I stuff stuff around it so that I think the deodorant all the way at the back. Then I have this small cubby hole here, which I tend to keep free. I can put things like a water bottle in there when I need to. And then there's 2 boxes. There's this white box and the pink box on this side. This white box is my food box. That has everything that I plan to eat in it. And then at the back there is the cooking ware box, which I'll show you again when I go around the other side. Finally, on the top here, there is a sink. Currently, it has some dirty cutlery in it because I need to clean it. But this is a sink that pops down, and so the food one is quite low. As you can see, these boxes don't come all the way to the top. The sink can pop down, and I can then have a fully functioning sink. So we're going to head round to the other side of the car, and then from this door here I have easy access to everything. So here is the cookware tub. I've got saucepans, I've got plates, cutlery, all sorts of stuff which I might need to cook or clean in there. Here you can see the other side of the tripod case, and here is the camera bag. And I've only got a small camera bag with me for this trip. Sometimes I'll have a huge camera bag, and that will then live in the front passenger seat. And then we have the footwell of this side. Now this is more of a dumping ground. So I've got a bin here, and I've also got, this is a guitar. And then I've got some walking boots. I have a sleeping bag, and under here I also have a psychedelic green ball, because why not? So this is, oh, and I've got wires for my power station, for my camera batteries. As I say, down there is more of a dumping ground. In the door here, I've got dustpan and brush, I've got some batteries, I've got a compass in case I get lost. So that space down there is the least organised, but it's also the least visible when I'm in the car, and it affects me the least. It's good to just have a bit of a dumping spot. As I say, opening this door gives me easy access to everything here, which is nice. And I keep a net on this window at all times. So only when I go to sleep do I then move this net onto the front window. So moving on to that, how do I black out my windows? Nets will go on my front windows, so I can then have them open a crack like it is now. Air can get through, but people can't see that they're open. Down here, underneath this rubber, I have a small gap between the back of the seat and the bit you sit on, and that is where I slide these. Now these are my window covers. They slide nicely in there. There is two for the back windows, and there is one for the boot. And then coming round to this side, I have the same. Under here, I have the other netting for the front window, and I have my blackout curtain, which is what I use for my front windscreen. So that is everything that I have in my super tiny micro camper car setup. And as you can see, there's a few things, a few luxuries that are probably missing, but it has all of the essentials that you'd basically take camping, and I try and keep it nice and organised, because then it just makes the whole process a bit nicer. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, hit that like and subscribe. As I say, it's been a very simple one, but if you guys want this kind of just me chatting to you, showing you simple things like my car camping setup so you guys can see it, gain inspiration or get tips, then by all means, like the video, comment questions you have down below, suggest things if you've seen things that you're like, oh, he could probably do that better, because I'm still learning. I'm always up for suggestions. And most importantly, whatever setup you have, make sure you make an adventure out of it, because that's what counts.